Good morning, guys. How are you? Everything okay? Yes, we are here for Unit 11C. Unit 11C you will find on pages 88 and 89, and the grammar bank on pages 146 and 147. Okay? We'll be talking about coincidences, about agreeing, disagreeing, and brothers. Do you know what twins mean? Twin brothers. When the same mother has two brothers or two sisters or brother and sister, but at the same time, they were born together. Usually they are identical, but they might not be identical as well. These are twins. Are you twin brothers? Do you know anybody who is a twin or who has a twin brother? I know. I have people in my family. I have cousins that are twin sisters. Okay, so let's see here. What a coincidence. To start this idea, we have a text. The text talks about what? About Jim, but the other Jim as well. What a coincidence. Let's read this text. Let's see there. Some years ago, two identical twins were born in Minnesota in the US. They were adopted by two different families soon after. One brother was adopted by a couple named Lewis and Lima, Ohio, and his brother was adopted by a couple named Springer in Dayton, Ohio. By coincidence, both boys were named Jim by their new parents. When Jim Lewis was 6 years old, he discovered he had an identical twin brother. When he was 39, he decided to find and contact his brother. 6 weeks later, he met Jim Springer in a cafe in Dayton, and they probably had a conversation something like this. We'll be seeing this conversation a little later. But first, I have some questions for you related to the text. So it's a kind of reading comprehension activity. Look at about the first question. Who are Jim Springer and Jim Lewis? Easy, yeah? Look at the first part of the text. They are two identical twins born in the US, two American twins. Second question. Why didn't they know each other? They didn't know each other because they were adopted by two different families just after they were born. Third question. What did Jim Lewis decide to do when he was 39? When he was 39, he decided to find and contact his brother. And the last question. How long did it take him? At the end of the text, you have 6 weeks later, he met Jim Springer in a cafe in Dayton. So this is basically the beginning of their story, and they had a conversation. The conversation was something like this. When you listen to me performing this conversation, pay attention to the gaps, and the gaps will be completed with some verbs, with some auxiliary verbs. These verbs and the idea of these verbs will be very important for you to understand later how to agree with something, how to agree with something that somebody said. So let's see the conversation. Hi, I'm Jim. So am I. Great to meet you. Sit down. Are you married, Jim? Yes. Well, I've been married twice. Yeah, so have I. Do you have any children? I have one son. No, so do I. What's his name? James Allen. That's amazing. My son's name is James Allen, too. Did you go to college, Jim? No, I didn't. Neither did I. I was a terrible student. So was I. Hey, this is my dog Toy. I don't believe it. My dog's name is Toy too. He wants to go outside. My wife usually takes him. I don't do any exercise at all. Don't worry. Neither do I. I drive everywhere. What car do you have? A Chevrolet. So do I. Hey, let's go and have a hamburger, okay? Sure. I once worked in a hamburger restaurant. Unbelievable. So did I. My goodness, guys. Did you see? Lots of coincidences. They have the same name, both have one son, the son's name is the same, they were both bad students, they both had a dog called Toy, they didn't do exercise, they both drive the same car, and they both worked in a hamburger restaurant. That's what we call a coincidence. Yes. But the most important here is the use of the verbs. Did you notice that we put the verbs according to the structures you had previously? I'm Jim, I am I. I've been, so have I. I have one son, so do I. And continuing like that. So that will be the grammar explanation we'll have soon after. Okay? That's why I'll talk to you later. It continues in our second video. Bye bye, guys. See you. Hello, guys. Once again, we are here to continue that class we had in the PowerPoint presentation, but now let's focus a little more on the grammar. When you agree with somebody, when you agree with what somebody said, you have these two kinds of words, so and neither. But we have to have a special attention to the use because many people confuse and they think that so is just to agree and neither is just to disagree. And it's not that. Both so and neither are used to agree, but you agree in the positive or you agree in the negative. Let's see these examples I wrote here on the board. Imagine that a person said, I love classical music. And you also love classical music. So you want to agree with this. I love classical music. What do you have to think? The verb is love. Which tense is love here? Love is in the simple present. Yeah? It's a normal verb in the simple present. As you have an affirmative sentence, you need to use so. So when you agree, the first thing you have to say when it's affirmative, so. Then comes the important point. As you have a simple present structure, what you need here is the auxiliary of the simple present. And the auxiliary of simple present, everybody knows that it's do. And of course, you have to talk about the person. So you have so do I. Okay? I love classical music. So do I. Let's see another example. I went to a show last night. Now the verb tense is different because you have this verb went. Went is in which tense? Went is in the simple past. Yes. So let's agree and say that you also went to a show last night. Again, affirmative sentence, you put so. Again, you put the person. What comes in the middle? What is the auxiliary for the simple past? The auxiliary for the simple past is did. So did I. Present, present, past, and past. And you follow this rule, this structure, with all the verb tenses. Present perfect, simple present, present continuous, simple past. It doesn't matter the tense. You need to follow the same structure. So, person, auxiliary in the middle. Let's move to a negative example. You have here, I'm not. I'm not, of course. It's verb to be. Verb to be in the present. But now the sentence is negative. Negative, you don't use so anymore. You have to use neither. Okay? Pronunciation, neither. You also may find somewhere people say neither. Neither is British, neither is American. But the idea is exactly the same. Neither, you have the person, of course. And what comes in the middle? Verb to be. Verb to be in the present. Neither am I. So this is the structure for the negative agreement. And one last example, again in the negative. I don't want. I don't want is a present negative again. So let's agree. Neither person. What comes in the middle? Auxiliary. Auxiliary for the present. Do. Yeah, keeping the same idea. I'm going to raise here just to show you another example that's very important and some students confuse when you have the present perfect. Look at this example I'm going to write on the board. For example, I can say, I've been to London twice. And another person is going to agree with you because this other person has also been to London twice. So the person is going to say, so, because it's affirmative, the person, and now is the important thing. When you have a normal verb, the auxiliary in the present is do. But when you have present perfect, the auxiliary here should be have. So have I. Or let's change for negative. Another example. The person said, I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. So let's agree. Neither, because it's negative. I, because it's the person. And the auxiliary continuous have. Neither have I. Comparing. Let's compare here. If I say, I have a cat. Did you see that you have, and you have. But what's the difference? Here, both are present perfect. Here, you don't have present perfect. You have simple present. And when you have simple present, you don't use have, you use do. So that's the main difference when you use have, when you use do. Yes, guys? No problems here? No doubts? Very simple, yeah? Of course, some people agree, but others disagree. And how do you disagree? Using the same sentences, I'm just going to disagree. And to disagree is even simpler. It's even more straightforward, more direct. Because you have here, I've been to London twice, but I haven't. So I'm going to disagree. And when you disagree, you just put the auxiliary with the person. Okay? I haven't seen that movie, but you have. Just the verb. I have a cat. You just say, I don't. This is disagreeing, okay? So don't confuse. Again, to agree in the positive, use so. To agree in the negative, use neither. To disagree, you just put the auxiliary corresponding to the verb tense. Yes? Activities for you guys. On pages 147, on page 147, you are going to find two activities that will be very simple for you to put that in practice. So you can do letter A and letter B. Just to give you a clue, you have there, I like chocolate. Example, so do I. Or letter B, I don't like cabbage. Do you agree? Neither do I. Okay? So don't forget. On page 146, you have a list with the most important verb tenses. This will be nice for you to identify when you have simple present, simple past, can't, would, wouldn't, present perfect, and so on. You can find all these kinds of activities. Yes? No problems? Guys, we'll be continuing a little later to talk a little more about some words, some vocabulary expressions, talking about similarities, talking about coincidences. Because you remember, in our first video, we saw that story of the Jim brothers, and that story continues. Let's see a little more about them later. Bye-bye. See you soon.